So, who here drives a car? Yeah, I definitely do. And who here agrees with this statement? That gas prices are just way too high? Yeah, I think most people would agree with that. Well, 91% of Americans drive their own personal car to work every single day. And cars are attributed to about 51% of our carbon emissions. So, everyone should drive an electric vehicle because you can plug in your car and reduce your carbon emissions by 51% instantly. So, what are electric vehicles? You have the all-electric EV, and you have the plug-in hybrid called the PHEV. The all-electric has an electric motor in place of the gas engine. It has 0 emissions, and it has rechargeable batteries. The PHEV has both the gas engine and the electric motor, and it has rechargeable batteries, as well as you get better gas mileage than a regular hybrid. So more on EVs. They plug in right at home. You can plug them in right over there if you wanted to. Most people do overnight charging because you get cheaper rates, and it goes about 4 to 8 hours to fully charge. You get about 100 miles on one single charge, and there's no emissions because there's actually no tailpipe. It's also economical because you pay about 2 cents per mile in total for fuel costs versus 12 cents per mile for gas cars. Also, there's less maintenance because there's no oil changes. It's more efficient than the gas engine. It's about 3 times more efficient than the gas engine in converting energy. And I said this is the best long-term solution for gas-powered cars because it might not be 100% with the 100-mile range right now, but as technology advances, it could potentially completely erase the gas-powered car. And for right now, I said it's a good commuter car because who drives more than 100 miles round trip to work every day? So how do they work? There's a little comparison between electric cars and gasoline cars. Where you get your energy is completely different. You get it from the utility company, and then instead of overseas oil. It's only about a 100-mile range versus the 300-mile range of the gas car. And it takes many hours to recharge instead of just going directly to the gas station and filling up. And as I said before, it's a lot cheaper per mile. And in the green here are all the parts of the electric car versus the red of the combustion engine. So PHEVs, plug-in hybrids, they're kind of a cross between a hybrid and an electric vehicle. They have the battery packs, and then they also have a backup gas tank. So this means you go about 50 miles completely electric without using a single drop of gas, and then it automatically switches to gas when you run out of your 50 miles. And so this means there's no driving limitation. It's just the same as a regular car. And I said this is a good primary car for long trips if you're going out of state and you don't want to have to worry about finding a plug or a charging station. And this is a good stepping stone for right now to EVs since it's kind of a combination of the car you drive now and an electric car. And this is a diagram. You can see there's got the battery pack in the back along with the gas tank. There's actually, in one side you can plug into the wall, and the other side you fill up your tank. And it's got both the electric motor and the engine. So why do you want to drive an electric car? Cars are about 70% of our national oil consumption right now. And one of our biggest problems is we're really reliant on foreign oil. So EVs are going to be an effective solution to completely eliminating that 70%, which will drastically influence our foreign policy. Oil is also not sustainable. It will one day run out, and as it's getting harder to find, prices are just going to keep going up. as electricity is renewable because we make it, and it's domestically produced, and it also has a lot more stable prices. You don't see your electricity bill changing every other day because Iran decides to charge you more money for it. Also, they offer federal incentives of about up to $7,500 in tax breaks if you buy an electric car, and also state incentives, which vary depending which state you live in. Also, the infrastructure is already in place. There are millions of plugs where you can potentially plug in your car. You can plug it in right over there, but I don't think you can get your car downstairs. So basically, we don't have to put in more power lines because we already have them. Also, as I said before, they are more economical and definitely more efficient. Let me go to my video. Some more benefits that I haven't talked about, and I can explain it better than I can.
It's a big challenge today. We don't have the batteries at the appropriate cost and weight to compete with the range of our personal auto. On the other hand, we should not ignore the advantages of electrification. First of all, it's a pretty good performance vehicle. If you want torque, get a battery. Secondly, it is clean in terms of the quotes, tailpipe emissions. So particularly in cities where range is not important and pollution can be important, there's an advantage. There's another kind of pollution that we haven't really spoken about very much, noise. If we could imagine in an urban environment a significant transformation to electric vehicles,
Oh, yeah.
that would be a different city.
Yeah. Well, we're sitting here in Cambridge and you can hear the trucks going by.
Right.
You wouldn't, other than the water.
Correct. And then, you know, if you really were confident about that, that could change how you design your buildings. Maybe you wouldn't have to have all the windows hermetically sealed, for example. So anyway, I think there are, I think it will be a very interesting transition over the next couple of decades towards a different mix in the vehicles. Interesting.
As I said, it's a lot quieter to drive an electric car, and it would completely change our way of life. Okay, so some misconceptions that people have about electric cars is that the charge range is too short. They want to go 300 miles on a tank of gas. But the average person drives about 29 miles a day, which is well underneath the 100-mile range. You wouldn't even have to plug it in at night, and you could still go for the next 5 days without it. Also, some people say they're too small. I don't like the design, they're little and I don't like them. Well, they have everything from SUVs to tractor trailers that are plug-in hybrids. So, also, as far as the design goes, the more current ones, you can't even tell if it's an electric car unless you hear it. And some people think it's too expensive, because it is a little bit more expensive initially. But with all the incentives, and plus all the fuel costs that you'll save on, it more than pays for the premium that you'll pay for your car. So this is a Chevy Volt. I think it's a pretty nice looking car as far as design goes. I wouldn't be able to tell that that's a EV at all. It's a PHEV. It's available now. You can buy one today if you wanted to. And this is what they advertise. It's kind of hard to read. You'll save about $6,850 in 5 years on fuel costs, and it costs about $950 per year to fuel your car. And you can buy it today for $39,100 for the new 2013 version. So these are some examples of cars that you can buy today. We have sports cars. This is a PHEV. It's actually got solar panels on the roof. You got school buses. You can plug it in while the kids are in school and go pick them up. And we even have tractor trailers. Coca-Cola did a study. They made about 5 of these. And it's a plug-in. And this is a completely EV made by BMW, modeled after the 300 series. These are some feature EVs and PHEVs. We got the Ford Escape. Yeah, that's going to be a plug-in hybrid. We have the Mercedes SLS E, which is 100% electric, and it's going to go about 130 miles, all electricity. And we have the BMW Motorrad E, which also is all electric. So, finally, make your new car purchase electric. Save some money, reduce your carbon footprint, and set yourself free from the gas station. And if anyone has any questions, I would love to answer them.
You talk about reducing your carbon footprint. I heard somewhere that the additional carbon required, or like carbon footprint required to make a Prius is the equivalent of driving like a Ford F-350 for like 20 years or something. Do you happen to know the statistics on the additional or the additional footprint required to produce them or not?
I haven't heard anything about how much emissions come from producing them.
Right.
But I know some people think that, like, since you're doing the electric, then the electricity company makes the emissions. But as those become more efficient, your car will also therefore become more efficient. So, yeah.
You kind of alluded to it and gave some numbers, but how long does it take if to be cost effective? If people are interested in cost, I mean, you threw the 38,000 figure up against, I'm not sure what the Volt 22 or something, you know. Is it 5 years before you could make it up?
No, it's about 9,000 more than the average car to buy an electric car. And if you get 7,500 right off the bat from the government, you will almost make up that full $9,000 within the first year. And beyond that, it'll just start paying for itself. Yes.
One other quick question. Can you jumpstart a fully electric vehicle?
Yes.
Yes.
And you can actually use it to power your house and through a generator if the power goes out, which is kind of cool.
Cool.
Extra bonus.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.